Good afternoon, Railbirds. This is your host, QuasiPro again, and today's special guest is Railbird's own Bill, who's been dealing at this year's World Series main event and is the author of the ever-popular blog series From the Box on Railbirds.com. This is your second time being able to deal for the World Series. What made you decide to become a poker dealer?
Initially, it was just simply because of the economy and everything going on. I thought it'd be nice to do something I could make money at poker, and felt being a dealer might add a different perspective to my game.
Very much so. What was your favorite moment of all the tables that you dealt at this year's main event?
You deal so many, by the time you get to the main event, it's almost a blur. I think in one of the day ones, I was really pleased with the play of one player that was elderly gentleman and had several of the young gun internet style players at the table, and to watch him several times basically give them a schooling on how to play poker the old school way against very aggressive play. It was a good lesson for me. I was favored because I see so much aggression and people folding to it, but he tended to just charge right back, and to see that and see the respect they had for his play was pretty special.
Do you have a favorite player that you like to deal for?
You know, you get so busy trying to stay on top of the game that half the time you don't even notice who's at your table. It gets so late. I think my favorite players are always the ones that do the things that make my job easier. And now a lot of them do. A lot of them do very well about how they place their bets, where they throw their cards when they muck. They do the things that make your job as a dealer easier. They're my favorite players.
How many hands would you estimate that you dealt over this series?
Well, a lot. I mean, you can't keep count. You know, one table may be a slow table in all their actions, another one's just fast. You deal live, you deal satellites, and then you deal tournaments, and the players play each differently. So, you know, if you're pumping out thousands and thousands of hands over the course of these 7 weeks that you're here. So, quite a few.
What would you say was the worst beat that you dealt out this year?
Oh, probably one I wrote in one of the blogs. I think it was where early position made a raise, and like 4 people called it, and it got to the big blind, and he shoved. And of course, the initial raiser said, "I call," and everybody else folded. And the initial raise was pocket aces, and the guy in the big blind turned over 9-6 offsuit, and he managed to hit a 6 on the flop, and on the river got another 6 to beat aces and short stack aces. It was pretty bad. I mean, it was not pretty even to be at the table and see that kind of beat.
Have you ever been in a situation where one of the players actually blamed you for a bad beat that you happened to deal?
Most of the time players understand it has nothing to do with the dealer. I had one day got real upset. He did get a bad beat. He was like, "Oh, dealer, man, you're terrible." And within 30, 40 seconds, just, "Nah, I know, dealer, it wasn't you. I didn't mean it." And, almost everybody knows that the dealer's mistakes are usually going to be with a missed deal, or they do something wrong in counting chips. It's very seldom has to do with how the cards are dealt to the players.
Besides dealing the World Series events, is there any other world event that you would love to deal for?
Sure. I mean, it'd be fun to be able to travel around the world and deal in major poker tournaments and see the world. Get paid. And I guess we would all love to do that, get paid to travel. I think it'd be neat. That's one of the things I love about the opportunity to deal, is it gives you that chance to go places you normally wouldn't, and to meet people from all over the United States and all over the world. It's and it's fun.
Over your career as being a poker dealer, has there ever been a really big tip or something that a player has given you as a tip, not necessarily money, but something that you've treasured and kept, or maybe even just a dollar amount, if there was a huge tip that you got? Yeah,
in last year, my first year at the series, I was dealing at a cash table, and all of a sudden a presidential gold dollar come floating out and said, "Here, dealer, thank you." And I kind of looked at it because I hadn't seen one. He said, "It's $1, it's real." And I carry it with me all the time. I keep it, and it's special because, you don't see that every day. They're hard to find, and it's just a gold dollar presidential coin, but I'll keep it forever. It's my special memento of my first year at the series as a dealer.
Do you think you might even encase it and use it as a chip protector?
I just take it out of my little purse thing and use it anyway, plain. I don't know about encasing it.
For the railbirds that are interested in becoming professional dealers, what skills do you consider the most important to have?
Oh, you always ask what it takes to become a dealer, and I will tell you, you have to be able to focus, and you better be able to think like a dealer, not a player. It's just anybody can practice and work on their mechanics and become very good, but unless you can focus on what's happening and manage the game, it doesn't matter how pretty your pitch is or your shuffle. It really is about making sure that everything goes well on the table, and it takes complete focus. You cannot be thinking about what players have and what they may be betting. You've got to be watching the action, and basically it's that mental side of the game that's more important than the mechanics.
And now that your contract is concluded and you have a few extra days in Vegas, what are you planning to do to unwind?
Well, if I told you that, it wouldn't be staying in Vegas, would it? But I can tell you it's not going to involve bikini bull riding. And that's one that stays in Vegas.
All right, Bill, thanks very much for taking the time to join us, and have fun on your rest of this day in Vegas.
Well, thank you.